And this slide is from McKinsey. 1 year after, we could see what has changed at the broader level. And what you see on the left side, there are three items. Remote work. So remote work has become a norm now. And they are saying that at least 20 to 25% of workers will continue to operate remotely. Companies, employees have accepted, and looks like it's a good way, not for everyone, but at least for that portion of the segment, like one third or one fourth people work remotely. So that's one thing. Number two, digitization. Digitization is related to the e-commerce, and all of us have seen quite significant growth in the e-commerce during the pandemic. And again, this is going to continue. So their estimate is that it's not only percentage growth, it's a number of times growth. So 2 to 5 times growth in e-commerce, which has already happened or happening, and it will continue to grow. And that would impact a lot of business models and industries. And the third factor listed here is about automation. So they are also saying that there is a general increase in the level of automation, adoption of technology by the businesses. So that's also significantly impacting, mainly for robotics, robotic process automation, AI type of things. So that's the first major trends according to McKinsey. The second important thing they want to highlight is the occupation transition. So a lot of change is going to happen or happening already in the work environment, and based on that, certain roles, certain jobs, certain professions are going to go down and certain are going to increase or grow. And here is a snapshot by McKinsey. What you could see here from the left side, you can see some of the categories like office support going down minus 17%, customer service and sales minus 8%, production minus 6, food services minus 5, mechanical installation minus 2. So these are the declining categories. And the growing categories are business and legal, transportation services, STEM workers. STEM stand for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, health professional, and healthcare. And by the way, this is a future forecast. So if you look at the top of the headline, they are predicting these trends to take place in the next 9-10 years by 2030. And this slide, again, this is from McKinsey, what it is showing, some of the major countries in the world. So it's USA, Germany, Japan, France, Spain, UK, then China and India also representing the eastern part of the world. So each bar has two colors. One is the black, one is the blue. What black color tells you that these were the expectation or estimate before COVID, that how many people would have to change their jobs. And blue portion is added by during the pandemic. So pandemic or COVID crisis have accelerated everything, all trends. So you can see that because of the COVID or pandemic, the trend has accelerated. So in USA is 10% change in the jobs, which means that 10% of the workforce has to change their jobs from one profession to another. And then you can see this is a number for other countries. So of course, it is higher number in the developed part of the world and somewhat lower in India, Pakistan, and Asia, or that part of the world. So China is about 7.4%. India is quite low, 3.4%, which is a good thing, basically. So less people would be impacted or forced to change their jobs or professions. This is an interesting slide, and this really gives you a little bit more detail. Let me explain to you what you see on the slide. So this is by certain categories or certain industry or segments. So what you see in the middle is working from home. That's one trend. The line you see, there are three spots. One is the black circle, starting point. This is the level before pandemic. How many people used to work? That's the baseline. How many people used to work from home? Then a line goes up, and the blue square shows what was happening during pandemic, at the peak of the pandemic. So you see suddenly a lot of people were working from home. And then the third spot, which is the blue square, is basically what is going to happen after the pandemic. So you could see in this case that the baseline is not going to be revert to the same level ever. So definitely it was much higher at the peak level, but now it's going to stabilize somewhere in the middle. So this blue box, that's the future or the post-pandemic for the working from home, right? So that is how the trend has been explained here. And now look at this trend for different categories. So business travel, for example, business travel declined significantly during the pandemic, right? Significantly declined. Is going to come back, but never to the same level as it was before. It would never go back to the same baseline. Leisure travel, it gone down significantly, is going to come back and probably the same level as before pandemic. So that's an interesting trend highlighted in these lines. Look at some other categories. So e-commerce. Now look at the e-commerce. This was the baseline. This was the pandemic, and it's now even going higher than the peak of the pandemic, e-commerce. So that's a new trend, very significant, which is not going to reverse at all. Restaurant delivery business. So look at the baseline here. It went up quite high, and it's going to slightly decline, but not coming back to the baseline. Online grocery shopping. Baseline went to the peak and go back somewhere in the middle. Online education, this was the baseline, go to the peak, and then coming back again, not to the baseline, slightly somewhere in between. Telemedicine, that's a new trend. So you can see telemedicine is something which is becoming a norm. So baseline here, peak, and then again slightly coming down, but not anywhere closer to the baseline. Automation adoption, this is the most important one for us because this is about the automation or technology adoption by businesses. And you can see that this was the baseline before pandemic. It slightly went down during the pandemic, peak of the pandemic. But look where it is going up. Where it is going up now is going to go up substantially higher because that is what the business needs badly. Business needs automation not only for the technology adoption, but also to reduce cost. And this is going to significantly impact the accounting, finance profession. In fact, all professions, but significantly finance and accounting professions. And I'll talk more about it. So these are some interesting trends by McKinsey. In this slide, you could also see the e-commerce in different regions or countries. So the number you see like 4.5x, 1. These are the multiples. So in UK, it's almost 4.5 times more before the pandemic e-commerce is going. Then China 1.6 times, USA 3.3 times, Spain 4.7 times, and Germany, India 2.1 times, France 2 times, Japan 1.8 times. So everywhere in the world, the e-commerce is increasing many-fold than compared to the baseline. This is also a very interesting slide to really understand. And what you see in this slide, there are 3 levels. These are the income levels. High income level, which means above 70th percentile. Middle level in between 30th and 70th percentile. And then low income level below 30th percentile. And what does these numbers show? It's showing basically the labor demand growth, where the labor is going to increase and where the labor is going to decrease. So it will decrease a lot, but also there are segments where the demand of the labor or talent would increase. But that would increase in the categories where the income level is very high. So that's a good news, especially for our category of professionals who are considered comparatively in the high income bracket. There is demand for us, but that demand at a higher level of income. So you could imagine that if there is a demand in the high income category, of course, the talent businesses are looking at also very different. It cannot be ordinary average talent. They are looking to pay high prices or high salaries, right? So the good news, but also a very important point to note that we need to develop our caliber talent and qualification to qualify for those jobs which would be in high demand at a high level of salary. So that's good news. And of course, you see the middle level, there is black boxes with minus numbers and low level. So low paid jobs which decline. That's a bad news for those people because first of all, there are no jobs and low income, and even the low income, there are not many jobs. But that's a reality. This is going to happen significantly more and more. Another very interesting slide. So I'm just sharing you with all the trends which are going to impact the future of jobs and future of finance. So pay attention here, try to understand. In this slide, you see different color boxes. And if you look at Just above these boxes, there is a glossary. Starting from the left side, black represents physical and manual skills. So, of course, these are low paid jobs. Next, light blue shows basic cognitive skills. These are the white collar jobs. Then comes next, dark blue, higher cognitive skills. So, these are even for the higher level of talent required in the white collar or knowledge workers, I would say. Next, another light blue box, social and emotional skills. Social and emotional skills. And then you have another box called technological skills. So that's the glossary. Now look at the below of this chart, the baseline, starting from the high wage quintile to lowest wage quintile. And here, the first on the right side, of course, this is the high paying jobs. Look at the requirement with the color codes. So on the top, 26% is related to technology skills. 39% is related to social skills. 25% is related to high cognitive skills. And then little portion is related to the basic cognitive skills. And if you look at this trend from right side to the left side, you will see that the portion of technology and social skills is reducing, going from right to the left side, which means that these skills, especially the technology skills, the social and emotional skills, higher cognitive skills, are related to the high paying jobs. That's very clear. This slide is from Gartner. So Gartner has also a lot of good research available in terms of how the future of work looks like. And few trends listed on this slide, you can see yourself on the left side. Flatter organizations with much less hierarchy. What does it mean? Which again means less people, but more people with higher capabilities. Faster information flow. This is related to the finance and accounting professions. Decision making powered by embedded data and analytics. So we know that data is really coming a big way. Cross functional team collaboration to take common mission through test and learn approach. So boundaries are going to be fallen down between the departments and functions. It's not going to be functional organization. It could be process oriented or team based organizations. That would also reduce the hierarchy. Flexible ways of working and dynamic allocation of talent, which means that talent is not restricted to one department or one function. Talent is available in the future organization as a pool. And if you are in the pool, you could be asked to do different projects, different tasks based on the need of the business organization. So that's a quite new model, but it's emerging very fast. This is another slide from Gartner. So again, they are just trying to show the trends that uncertainty is the next normal. So it looks like there are many things not clear. Yes, that's true. But is it going to change? No, it's not going to change. It's going to remain as like it is. So uncertainty is the new norm. Growth is a speed game. Businesses are highly competitive and highly resourceful. And they are really competing cutthroat to make their impact. Talent market, impact of all these business model changes are impacting the talent market. As I said, there is high demand of the highly talented people. That's a good news. But not everyone would really realize that, understand that there is a good market. I call it a blue ocean job market and a red ocean job market. Currently, majority of the candidates searching jobs are in the red ocean, whereas there are not many jobs. There's firefighting going on. And then there are blue ocean where the employers are seeking talented, high caliber candidates, and there are not many candidates. That's what we need to realize, that this is an opportunity, but not many people are really understanding that part. So look, few trends about the new organization model. What is going to happen? This will give you a good flavor about the future. So organizational structure, it used to be hierarchical, no more. It's more about projects, squads, teams, and services. As I said, the talent is available as a pool and it could be allocated based on the projects in need of the business. Teams and projects. Teams are formed slowly over time, historically. Today, teams assemble and disband very quickly. It's not long term, it's short term, project by project. Jobs and roles, job description, job levels, job titles, old way. New way, it's assignments, tasks and expert roles, not much about the titles. Based on your talent, you could be assigned to projects. Managers own team and people's careers. No, managers manage projects. There is self-managed basis for talented people. They don't need managers to supervise them. Careers, jobs are owned by the manager and not shared. New trend, jobs open in transparent marketplace. So it more based on the networking. Flexibility and space, people assign jobs by management. New trend, people sort out based on skills, work, and multiple projects. So this is a very important point I have emphasized time and again, that you need to ensure that you are visible. Your opportunity would come to you through visibility if you are visible. So two levels, one in the internal local level of your organization. Even if you are employed and you're talented, are you visible to the management or to the leadership so they could identify you for some big projects? Or if you are at the broader level in the market, are you visible to the market so when the recruiters and hiring managers are looking for the talent, they could see you? But you need to ensure it's not enough only to have talent, you need to market it. And the first thing, the marketing, is creating transparency, visibility for yourself to the people who could provide you opportunity. Rewards, people rewards by level, tenure, and experience. New trend, people rewarded by outcome, reputation, and sponsorship. So it's result oriented. It's not about that you are a director for 20 years, so you should be rewarded. It doesn't matter. Even a younger person with more producing results could gain a lot more rewards than those people. Culture, inclusion, sustainability, diversity, new culture is citizenship, collective thinking, shared values. So it's quite open culture with some modern trends. So this slide also gives you a flavor of the modern organization which we are going to face. Let's talk about industries a little bit. So the slide you are looking at your screen is basically showing a trend about almost 200 years. And you could look from the beginning, which means the earliest time captured here is 1850. Look at the size of the different industries. So agriculture was dominant at that time, right? And over a period of time, their contribution changes. Look at the right side, which is the last year captured here as 2015. What has happened to agriculture? Significantly reduced. Now, it's not about the volumes. We are producing more agriculture volumes, but based on the technology and automation, the resources applied have significantly shrunk. Which industries have expanded? Look at the transportation, look at the services, look at the professional services, look at the education, look at the healthcare, right? So the mix of the industries have significantly changed. Now, if that has been the situation in the last 170 years, can you predict the future? The way the changes are happening, it's very difficult to predict the future. The changes which have happened in 200 years, probably they're going to take place in the next 5 to 10 years. That's the pace with which the things are changing. So you need to be very cautious which industry you are in and what are your plans, because those industries may change very quickly. Then there is convergence of industries. It's difficult to identify new business models. Which industry do they belong to? For example, Amazon, which industry you would say they belong to? Google, could you identify what industry they are? So new businesses, successful businesses are so resourceful that they want to really venture in each and every field. And more of a modern technology trend is convergence of industry. So Uber is not something new, but Uber is a convergence of different industries, automation, technology, and taxi or rental car business. A new business model is there. Airbnb is not a hotel, but it's a new business model combining different things. So continuously based on the innovation, new models are coming up and new industries are emerging. So you also need to be very conscious which industry you are and where you want to grow. So look at these two set of industries. I've created this slide based on the observation. So there are industries which are still growing or making progress during pandemic and after pandemic. And these are, of course, healthcare, technology, safety, security, online, telecommunication, online education, deliveries, green energy, etc., etc. But look at the right side, the industries which are declining. Airline, future, now airlines would remain there somehow, but what would be their future is not very clear. Hotels struggling, automotive industry, oil and gas dying, real estate, retail, brick and mortar is side of the retail, construction, travel services. These are declining industries. So first question when it comes to the career planning, you need to ask yourself which industry you are in and what is the future. And I'll give you more tips that how to really, if you are a different level of career, how to really plan for the industry change or industry, same industry continuation. So talent situation is that there is continuing layoffs. And I think this is also a new norm. There are no reason for economic crisis only. Businesses continue to evolve and emerge and becoming smarter, and technology is coming, so there would be a continuous layoff. And of course, it's very obvious that employer would never say that you are being laid off because you are not efficient or smart or talented, but usually the criteria behind the scene is always that if they have to reduce their workforce, they start with the people who are not performing well. So that is one thing that in order to safeguard yourself, you need to ensure that from a talent point of view, you are no less than your competitors. So talent supply is segregating into two segments. As I said, there are the traditional job seekers with traditional skill set. This is the red ocean job market. So even if they lose their job, next day they get back to the same job with the same level of skills and they struggle. Second portion, the blue ocean, is high in demand professionals with up skill set. These are the people who are highly talented and they are trained in new skills, technologies, and smart with the social skills and people related skills, and they are in high demand. That's a blue ocean of job market. Hiring is going on. The people in the job market, red ocean, feel that there are no jobs. There are jobs, but those jobs are being pursued on a selective basis. Of course, they are not being posted or advertised, but through recruiter, through networks, through referrals, those people are still being hired. And job disruption is very common. So you need to be very proactive, looking at the future of your jobs and how it's going to change, and prepare yourself accordingly to meet the job requirement. And many people would even face or encounter the career disruption, which means that they are in a one profession and they are not able to find a job in the profession, in that profession, so they will change their profession or change their career altogether. So new rules of the game: highly competitive job market for job seekers, that's very clear. More hiring through networking, high demand for soft skills and attitudes. That's a good news and a bad news. Good news is that it can be developed. Bad news, many people don't have those skills. And technology is no more limited to IT departments. Technology is everywhere, and technology has become a main denominator for any work you do. So don't forget that if you lack in technology awareness or understanding, then you need to do something about the technology. And talent is also assessed based on your ability, so how quickly you could upskill and reskill. So not necessarily that you know everything. That's not expected or that's not possible. But as long as you have a learning attitude, you could learn things very quickly, you are considered a good, talented person, because things would continue to change, new technologies would come, and people learn and deliver the results. And shift in focus from experience. So experience doesn't matter here, because if you have 20 years experience in certain industry and that industry is going obsolete, what's the value of that experience? So it's about skill set. If you have a skill set, and especially that skill set which could be applied to different industries, you are in a good position. So this is about the broader overview of the future of jobs or future of work.